Embodiment sounds woo until you realize it's how every high performer steps into their power. If you've heard the word embodiment and thought, but how the hell do I become her right now when my external circumstances are not giving wealth, when my body is not giving fitness queen, when my career is not giving director level status? How do I become her right now? In this training, I'm going to break down embodiment for the logical mind, because I am on the cusp of being very, very woo and also very, very logical. And embodiment for me has been something that I have struggled to grasp purely because I'm like, it's so fucking illogical, right? And you don't just become a new version of you overnight. Like, how is that possible? And so let's break this down. You don't just become a new version of you by thinking about it. You become her by living like her, by thinking like her, by speaking like her, like believing what she believes in. You then reset your default programming to reflect this new version of you. And voila, the external reflects what you give out into it, right? Okay, so you're not faking it till you make it. You are practicing the identity of the woman you want to step into. It is like playing a role. And I'm going to talk you through the 3 aspects of embodiment, break it down so that if you are logical like me and you are like, I don't know how I can just be my future self right now because my external is not reflecting that, then let's fucking change that for you, okay? Okay, so we are going to break this down. First things first, your brain and your body are constantly communicating. Posture, breath, tone of voice. Your nervous system reacts to these things, okay? And so if your posture is very, you're trying to keep yourself small, your breathing's very erratic, fast-paced, right? If your tone of voice is quiet, if your tone of voice is loud, if your posture is up and open, your nervous system is going to react to that, okay? You can literally create confidence, power, authority, softness, femininity. You can create anything by simply breathing it into your body, by making your nervous system feel safe to hold it. And once you do that, your mind catches up. So you may have heard of this in terms of like the power pose or something similar, in which when you're going in for like an interview, this is how I learned about it in my human resources masters. I was doing a module on leadership and we actually talked through the power pose, which was really interesting. And essentially what that pose is that you go and stand in a place alone, and it essentially is an activation of the version of you want to step into, okay? A power pose is putting you in a position that makes you feel fucking powerful, okay? And a lot of the time, you'll see women standing with their hands on their desk, feet spread, in a really big pose, just instilling that power in themselves before they go into a big meeting, into an interview, into anything that is going to have an impact on the rest of their lives. And actually, my mentor at the time, during this course, she actually got the job. She actually did this before she got the job as the lecturer, right? I just find it incredible that you can put energy into your body and your external circumstances will reflect that, okay? So you can literally create confidence. You can create authority, power, certainty. You can breathe that into your body, and you might notice these women walking into rooms and you're like, who the fuck is that? You notice their energy. You notice their energy before you notice them. You notice their energy before you notice what they look like, because they exude confidence, power, clarity, certainty in who the fuck they are. And that is literally, it's not genetic. It's not anything that is special to them. Like, they have learned that, okay? So you do not need to wait until you feel ready. This is one of the biggest myths I want to bust, right? You do not need to wait until you feel ready to do any of these things, to feel confident. You do not need to wait until you have got the body of your dreams to feel confident, because I tell you now, it will not happen. Once you get the body, you still won't feel confident, right? So you do not need to wait until you feel ready, until you have the external circumstances that match to have everything that you want, okay? You go first and your reality follows. So when you consistently show up in your body, in your energy, as the version of you who has everything you want, your mind believes it. Your mind catches the fuck up, and your mind's like, oh, this is who we are now. This is who we are now. And you know what? Once your mind catches up, your external circumstances will reflect this, okay? You go first, and then everything else catches the fuck up. Your energy, your embodiment, your presence, it becomes an instruction manual for what life brings you. How insane is that? Who you are being in any given moment will dictate what you get. Which also means you get to dictate what you get given from the universe, from your external circumstances, from the higher power, whatever you believe in. I don't know what you believe in. God, God's plural, the universe, whatever. You get to decide and dictate what you get back simply by being in the right energy. Which brings me on to number 2. Every identity, every version of you is simply learned. She is simply a learnt version of you based on your current reality, the habits, the behaviors, the actions of the people around you, of your family, of your friends, of yourself. This current identity is simply an amalgamation of everything that you've learned in your life, which means that you can simply unlearn it and learn something new. You can become something new. The brain is neuroplastic, which means you can change your beliefs, you can change your identity, you can change your habits simply by repeating the new ones and getting rid of the old actions. And this comes down to being conscious of what you are doing so that you can consciously stop any old behaviors leaking in and revert into, this is who I am now. This is what I do. It's in the way you show up every single day. Future you, she is a decision you make multiple times a day. She's not a decision you make once. She is a decision you make every single day, multiple times a day. If health is something you are going for, and you find yourself going to the cupboard, reaching for one of the children's chocolate bars that you put in their lunchboxes, and you go, oh, just have a little snack. In that moment, you get to decide, are you current you or are you future you? If you are a businesswoman and you are building an empire like me, and you find yourself falling into traps of self-doubt, into procrastination, and you find yourself in a task where you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This happens to me a lot. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to set up this automation. I don't know how to set up XYZ. And then you find yourself reaching for your phone. You find yourself reaching for your phone and you're like, 10 minutes later, scrolling through Instagram, you're like, what am I doing? Right? It's this pattern interrupt. You have a choice every single day. Are you being future you who is running a fucking multi-6-figure empire? Or are you being current you who is still building it? Okay? You get to decide every single day. And it comes down to being consciously competent. These are the 4 stages of learning, right? If we just take this back to learning to drive or learning an instrument or learning anything, I don't know if you drive or play an instrument. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know, and that's it, right? You just don't know what you don't know. You don't even know that you need the skills. You don't even know that you need to learn to play piano. You don't even know that you need to learn to drive at this point. Conscious incompetence. I'm having to see the words in my mind. Conscious incompetence You know that you need to learn to drive, but you don't know how to but you do not know how to drive. Conscious competence is when you are learning the skill, but you are having to actively embed said skill every single time. You're having to catch yourself in those feedback loops, in those patterns, and going, no, I'm not doing that. Or I need to check my mirrors before I indicate. I need to press the brake or press the clutch before I change gear. Okay? You have some of the skills, you're learning the skills, but it takes a lot of mental energy to do it. And it comes down to unconscious competence. You know how to fucking drive now. Yay. And then you find yourself on journeys where you're like, how the hell did I get here? Which, you know, I know happens to everyone, but like, I don't think anyone would say it because we're meant to be paying attention, right? In those moments where you get somewhere and you're like, I don't know how the fuck I got here. That is your subconscious mind taking over. That is your subconscious mind automating the action because it's easier for it to be an automatic action and takes less brain power than it is to be consciously competent in it. Okay, so this is where we're going to get to, unconscious competence. Okay, that was a long way through. And my point with this is that your new identity will be consciously competent for a really long time, or maybe not a really long time. It depends how quickly you repeat and embed the new behaviors, the new thoughts, the new ways of speaking, the new beliefs. If you can embed that and you can catch yourself in those loops, in those feedback loops, like that, then yeah, you are going to rewire your brain pretty damn quick. But it is going to take conscious competence before the new identity and before the new way of doing things becomes your new default, before it becomes unconsciously competent, right? Before it becomes just your new normal automatic action. Something I did actually to bring this in back end of last year, 2024, I really started delving into this work really like deeply, and I got really into visualizing my future self, and I got really into visualizing who I was going to be in 2025, right down to the clothes, the appearance, the jewelry, what I'm doing with my face. Like, am I putting makeup on? How do I have my hair? Do I take care of my hair? Or do I just let it, let the dye grow out, let my roots grow out? Like, who am I? And I visualized who I was down to the jewelry, down to the hair, the clothes I was wearing, the choices I was making about my appearance. Because for me, my higher self, she is someone who takes fucking care of herself. She looks good. Not in the sense of being vain, but in the sense of I respect how I put myself out into the world, because I know that how I put myself out into the world is a fucking mirror to what I believe about myself. And so if I'm slobbing around, and I notice this now, if I'm wearing baggy hoodies or clothes that are old or have holes in, and I'm like, no, my higher self doesn't do this, my energy's off because I know I'm not being my higher self in that moment. So this is how I have actually brought this into practice. The visualization, I'm going to come on to this in a minute, but the visualization is so key to knowing who you are embodying and who you're being. Because without the vision and the clarity of where you're going, you don't know who you need to be to get there. So that is how that's the easiest way to describe, because it's so tangible. Like for me to see that transformation in how I approach my appearance and how I put myself out into the world, that for me is the biggest tangible difference I can see in my embodiment. And so I ask you, what are you doing? How are you presenting yourself to the world? And what message do you think that gives the world to give you? If you are giving out sloppy, I don't care vibes, that is what you are going to get back from the universe. And if you are trying to build a dream life that it doesn't have sloppy, I don't care vibes, then you are misaligned. Okay? Third and final, you need to activate her. And now this comes back to what I was saying about visualizing her, because you can't activate her without visualizing who she is. Okay. So for me, I imagine stepping into character. I imagine stepping into a character of me, the highest version of me. I think about what she does, how she presents herself, how she speaks, how she presents herself online, what she does when fear comes up, what she believes when self-doubt tries to take over, what she does in situations where boundaries are pushed. Like, you have to get into the nitty-gritty to really reprogram your identity at the core. You need to understand who you are at the core, and you need to understand what you're going to do when your buttons get pushed and when shit hits the fan. Because in those moments, that is when it's so easy to revert into old self. In those moments, you revert into old self because it's easier than going, wait, what would new me do? Okay? So I view it as stepping into character. And interestingly, Jim Carrey has said exactly the same thing. He said the same thing about himself. He said the same thing about himself. He said, Jim Carrey is simply a character I play. He is like all the other characters I play. How fucking wild is that? He sees himself as a character he plays alongside the Truman Show, alongside the guy in the Truman Show, alongside the guy in the mask, right? And that's what embodiment is. That's what activation is. It's like playing a character and not faking it until you're making it, and not, just pretending. It's like, today I'm going to be X version. And when we want to step into our higher level self, into our next version, the next version of us, we want to be the most permanent version of us, right? But in order to step into this new character, into this new level, we need to practice being her on a daily basis. Which is why I use the analogy of stepping into a character, because you can try her on for the day, and you can keep trying her on, and you can keep going, what would X do in this position? Like, even if you were playing a character, I don't even know, Blair from Gossip Girl. I don't know why she came into my head, but she did. You go, what would Blair do in this situation? Right? I grew up in church, and you always used to find people wearing bracelets, and I'm pretty sure they still do, which would say WWJD. What would Jesus do? I just changed that now to what would my higher self do? But it's the same thing, right? So we want to step into the version of you who already has the result. That is the character you are playing on a daily basis, okay? You get to choose who you are being in every moment, in every decision of every single day. And I want you to if I want you to take anything from this, I want you to first get really, really clear on who you want to be. And secondly, I want you to at least ask yourself, what would my higher self do 10 times a day? 10 times a day. You get an unexpected bill. What would my higher self do in this position? Well, she would probably pay it and go, the money will come back. It is just energy. You get an unexpected client drop-off. What would my higher self do in this situation? You get an invitation to an interview. What would my higher self do in this position? Okay, you get the picture. This is the one thing I really want you to take away from this, because this is how we embed your higher self into your every single day life. And coming on to activating her. Because it's one thing to go, this is who you need to be, but how do you step into that? And it's the same way in which actors, leaders, singers step into the version of them that they need to be to perform. Elsie Ballerini said this recently in an interview I watched. She goes, before I step on stage, I have to activate the version of me that can hold the crowd, that can hold that number of people, that can hold the energy for that number of people, who can give them the show, right? It is the same fucking thing. You need to activate the version of you, the character you are stepping into before you can step into her. How do I activate my higher self? I hear you ask. Well, I'm somebody who loves music. I love dancing. And so I will put on a high energy song. And every few weeks, the song changes, but the energy never changes, okay? I will put on a high energy song and I will dance in my mirror. And I will sing at the top of my lungs. And what this does is that it is getting you into that high energy vibration. The version of you want to be, I mean, she might be cool, calm, and collected, in which case dancing like a crazy woman in front of the mirror might not do it for you. But she's not small, she's not shy, she's powerful, she's strong, and she's fucking high energy. And so if you want to give energy into the world, you need to create the energy within yourself. I dance before every masterclass, before every podcast, YouTube, whatever, anything that I need to be in really fucking high energy for, that I'm like, and it's not to say I don't want to do it. I really love being here and doing this, but I want to give you the best version of me. And so me stepping into the best version of me is dancing, is finding some bad bitch song that's like, you can fucking do anything, right? And when I hear that song and when I sing that song and when I dance that song, I'm like, yeah, I can fucking do anything. And I tell, like, you might think I'm off my rocker, and that's fine, but try it. Try it when you're on your own in your home next time, and put on a song that you know gives you some energy. You love singing it. You love dancing it. Maybe it's your car song. Maybe it's like the song that you turn up in the car when you're on your own. For me at the moment, I'm going to out myself. It's Hannah Montana, best of both worlds. Because I don't even know why. I fucking love Hannah Montana. I love High School Musical, bet on it. And these songs, they make me feel powerful because I'm like, yeah, like it takes me back to my childhood, and but in a different way, because I'm like, oh my God. And also, Hannah Montana is great for activation because Hannah Montana is literally the epitome of embodiment, right? She steps on the stage as Hannah Montana. She has to activate that character. When she's at school, she's just Miley Cyrus or Miley not Cyrus. I don't know what her surname is in the program, but she's just Miley, right? She is the epitome of embodiment. And I was thinking this as I was getting prepared for this, as I was listening to Best of Both Worlds and singing it. So yeah, dancing, getting into high energy, making myself feel powerful. It's that or Beyonce, but you know, two different edges of the same sword, really. The next way I activate myself is visualization. Every single day I will do a block of mindset work. In that mindset work, I do meditations, I do visualizations, I do journaling, and that's basically it. In those visualizations, I am connecting to the future version of myself. I have tracks that I listen to that enable me to really, really clearly see who I'm becoming, the life I'm creating. And without this, it's honestly not possible, to be honest. It's not possible. If you don't know where you're going, you cannot embody the next level version of yourself. So the first step is to get really, really clear on your vision. And I ask my clients this when they first come and work with me. What is your vision? Where are we going together? Right? Because I truly believe literally anything is possible for you. Okay? But I can believe it and it not come true, because you also need to believe it, and you need to be really clear on what you want, on what is going to be aligned to you. This is why I ask, what is your vision? Because if we do not know what the vision is, what we're trying to get to, we're not going to get there. Okay, so visualization, possibly the most important. And then anchoring it in the nervous system. Because, and I will tell you why. We do not want the next level version of ourselves to feel really exciting all the time. We don't want the next level version of ourselves to feel really heightened in energy all the time, because we want to anchor it in, because it's going to be our new normal. And so it's not going to be exciting, because it's going to be who we are, right? And so getting excited and getting hyped up and getting like, yes, this is what I'm visualizing. Yes, I'm going to step into it. Like, we want to feel calm about it. We want to feel cool, calm, and collected about where we're going. Because if you believe you can get there, it's a given. We do not want to get excited about it, because then you are training your nervous system that it's not normal for you. And so we anchor in the safety in the nervous system, the capacity for change in the nervous system, and everything else floods in. But without the anchoring in the nervous system, your next level self will not happen for you, because your subconscious mind will self-sabotage you to keep you at the level that you're currently at. I'm not going to get into that today, but if you want to learn more about subconscious mind, head to my Instagram and you will find bits and pieces on there. So we want to anchor it in the nervous system using breath work, using the meditations, and really calming the EFT tapping as well, really creating that calm energy around change. Because without change feeling safe, you are never going to be able to hold on to the results. So when you decide to embody her, just watch. Just watch how quickly it becomes your new normal. And I said this at the start. Sometimes we get hung up on transformations taking a really long time. And that is simply your belief. It's simply your belief holding you back. Transformations do not need to take time. Transformations of life, environment, circumstances, career, relationships, money do not need to take time. You can decide to quantum leap to a different reality. Again, I'm not going to talk about it today, but you can decide to just step into her, embody her, and watch how your external circumstances react, but also rise up to meet this new level of you, to meet the next level of you. You go first, and your external circumstances have no choice but to catch up. When you are in her energy constantly, like I said, your reality has no choice but to catch the fuck up. Embodiment is not optional. It is not optional. If you are after a real core level transformation, a transformation of your brain, a transformation of who the fuck you are. If that's what you're after, and I would assume, because you are at the end of this video, that is what you're after, right? Then embodiment is not optional. We do not do surface level transformations here. I'm not giving quick fixes in that sense of get you the result, but don't really care about you after. Like, I'm here to transform your life at a core level. And you cannot do that without embodying the next level version of yourself. Your body, your energy, your decisions pave the fucking way for who you get to be in this life. Your identity will shape your external world. So if you shift your identity to match the version of you who has the body, who has the £1 million house, who has the dream relationship with a man who is incredible, who has a 6-figure business, who has a C-suite job. If you have the identity of that version of yourself, the results are a no-brainer. And the results might not manifest themselves immediately. You might need to be that version of you for a month, for 3 months, for 6 months before you start to reap the benefits of being her. But let me tell you, you will certainly not get the results if you are not embodying her every single fucking day of your life. If you have enjoyed this training, you want more on embodiment or identity shifting, I have a 21-day challenge you can jump straight into right now. You can binge all of the audio trainings. You can binge the journal prompts. There are 3 meditations in there. I will pop the link in the show notes for this video or this podcast episode, and click the link, jump in, change your fucking life. If you're looking for a deeper transformation, if you are looking for a quicker, hands-on, let's fucking go transformation of your life, whatever the fuck you want to achieve, we can do it together. I will also pop the link to the application for my one-to-one coaching. This container will change your life in a matter of weeks, if you let it. I cannot wait to see you inside either the Future Self Shift or my one-to-one container. Click the links below, drop me a follow on Instagram, pop a hi in the comments, let me know what your biggest breakthroughs were, what's landing for you, and I will see you in the next episode.